Hey everyone, it's Will, Gamer Dad, with another video for you. So of course, after you finish Chapter 3 of the side quest and obtained D3 5-star, you now can go into the Burning Beast King's Castle as another dungeon. And if you're wondering the reason for that, you do have to farm materials as well as points. The points do unlock rewards, just like most side quests, and at the end, you'll get a total of 3 chant scripts and a bunch of chronostones, some guiding light, murmur scripts, and so on and so forth. The other reason is that you can actually craft some armor from some of the drops. So make sure you bring a good team. Make sure you bring a team that gathers a lot of points. I've mentioned this in other videos, but the characters that gather the most points are Lokito, Annabelle, Altina, Gildna, Bria, Deidre, and of course the bonus character is Radius, which is featured on this banner from this update. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. I do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me this way. So you can see that this is recommended for level 70, and the reason for that is, of course, most of the mobs are level 70 plus. Also, with most Another dungeons, this is the very hard version, so it does use red keys. You will need either light or shadow, and you need a total of 120 light or shadow to unlock all 3 awards. Reward lines on the final, after the dungeon is completed. Now, you can say there are pluses and minuses to bringing all 6 bonus characters as opposed to bringing 5 characters and a light, or shadow battery such as Aldo, for example, or someone else. I chose Aldo, first of all, because a lot of these enemies are weak to either slash or fire. And so he does both, and he has a nice little AoE, the Fire Slash Mark II, which happens to wipe out most of these enemies with the help of, either itself or just a couple of hits from his cohorts here. You can also use 2 AoEs. I mean, some enemies are weak to blunt, in which case you can use Lokito, and even though Annabelle's not great with her AoE, she can use Holy Saber. Now, if you want to, you can actually use Holy Saber and or Deliverance Sword, especially if your HP or MP is low. And the reason for that is that some enemies do physical attacks, some do magical attacks, and depending on which one you want to heal up, you just, during one of the mob fights, and you'll have to fight all 15 anyways, being that you really want the maximum amount of points. You don't want to speedrun this completely. You really do want to kill all 15 mob battles and gather all the treasure chests. As a review, 2 in the first section, 1 in the second section, and 3 in the third section. Keep in mind also that there are rare areas in section 2 and 3. The third one would give you extra bonus points in the treasure chest, and the second one will actually have horror that you can fight for additional mega points. So if you do see it, make sure you try to beat it. Otherwise, you can use food to regen just like normal. Being that some of these enemies are level 70, it might be a little bit more difficult, especially if your team's not fully powered up. You can see I used Holy Saber here. And in this case, they just attacked me with physical attack, so I was a little bit unprepared with that. Otherwise, I should have used Deliverance Sword and allowed myself to auto-heal for 1200 for the whole party. Altina is also there. She does have Angel Song, which helps with shielding physical resistance as well as a regen. But against most of these mobs, if you have a full level 80 team, it really shouldn't be a problem. Also, I hope all of you have at least started to get the Manifest Weapon for Deidre after the chapter. And the reason for that is you can level it up here. After all, you probably still have to level Deidre from level 60 to level 80. Or even lower if you haven't bothered to level her up from the very beginning. She is apparently one of the top Earth/DPS in the game, and just like usual, when I have some time, I will definitely review her as well as Bria. And since I was very, very fortunate to pull a 4.5 of Radius, I will have upgraded Radius and will also do a 5-star review and gameplay of her sometime in the future. So let me know in the comments below how you guys have been doing in the farming section of this, how your progress of the game has been. I've seen a lot of mixed results. I know that a lot of you have finished all 3 chapters, and for me, I only finished last night, so I've actually been pretty behind compared to some of you. I know that others are also putting it off, being that, realistically speaking, it is actually quite a long episode. Even though there are 3 chapters, I would say there's many hours of gameplay, and like I said, you can really explore different areas. For example, the Rind town at night, where you can talk to different things. There are other side quests and little mini things that you can do to either get, for example, Grasta, or getting, for example, those 7 recruits. I understand there's also an ability to get a second adamantium weapon, which I will do, and once I get that done, I will definitely put a video up in order to show you guys how to do that. So yeah, lots and lots to do, and there's a lot of Easter eggs, like I said, talking to the NPCs and getting a lot of kind of the base storyline about what's different with this particular Time Layers parallel world versus our original one. The downside to using Aldo is, honestly, his MP attacks at 40 plus per shot, it doesn't last very long. So, keep in mind that you may have to use food, or like I said, if you happen to use Holy Saber and get hit with a magical tap, it will regenerate all MP for the whole party by 50. Okay, so you can see this is the final boss battle. Looks exactly like the top when we were challenging the Paladin Deidre's version in the first one. And finally, this is the final boss of the actual 3rd chapter. So same idea. It starts off with a nice little AoE that can deal a fair bit of damage. It is physical based, so if you do Deliverance Sword right off the bat and you have Annabelle's Manifest weapon, even though it's done some damage to you, it's actually still not too powerful. I mean, Deliverance Sword obviously did power down, and with Annabelle's counter, auto heal for 1200. Well, I mean, the Paladin's final form also healed, but we're dealing more damage than it can do to us currently anyways. So note that we did set up Slash Zone, and I have put a couple of Grasta on Deidre. So it's got some Pain Grasta as well as Earth Grasta, and we're going to just apply Pain using the Blood Absorb, and then do mega damage as much as we can with the Chaos Saber. Note that we also started off with Blood Cleave to increase her power by 70%, just to kind of show you a little bit of what the damage potential could be. I mean, it's not that great, 1.1 million, but keep in mind that it died off relatively early and doesn't have any elemental weaknesses, so you're not really dealing a tremendous amount of damage. Although Slash Stone does increase your slash damage by 30%, on top of the fact that we're using all Slash characters as well. And here are 3 reward lines. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.